hizi vitisho za kusema tutaoccupy nyumba fulani ya mheshimiwa fulani, wafanye mambo yao. Occupy si rahisi.
If there is one word that sends chills cascading President William Ruto's spine these days, it is not inflation. It is not even Al-Shabaab. It is the M word, maandamano.
Whatever people are trying to recreate for the Gen Z movement, we want to tell them that is a thing of the past.
Ever since the earth-shaking protests of June 2024, State House has been in a perpetual state of anxiety. And now, as Kenya braces for yet another seismic wave of demonstrations on July 7th, the iconic Saba, the government is already twitching.
Recent weeks, we have witnessed a worrying trend. Demonstrations that begin with expression of governance have quickly been infiltrated by both manipulative political actors and criminals. What should have been peaceful expressions of concern have been turned into violent confrontations.
The military is reportedly on standby. Businesses are shuttering. Schools are closing their doors. Nairobi's airfields speak with anticipation and apprehension.
Our constituents want peace that allows them to face life with its ordinary opportunities and challenges.
Even MPs have caught the fever. A group of Nairobi legislators held a press briefing, their voices dripping with frustration.
They want jobs. They want security for their children. They want stable prices, safe neighborhoods, and hope for their families. No country has ever resolved its problems through violence. Banning businesses does not create jobs. Stoking tribal hate does not put food on the table. Destroying our own economy deepens poverty. We remind all Kenyans that we are a democratic nation with institutions capable of addressing grievances.
They painted a grim picture of escalating violence, torched properties, and mounting deaths. In a familiar refrain, they claimed that these protests aren't homegrown but are instead fueled by shadowy international organizations allegedly plotting to destabilize Kenya.
I know that there's also, from the messages that I've gotten, I know that there's a lot of people that are funding this kind of movements in our country from outside. But remember, you live outside, but you're leaving the Kenyans here. Those who are saying invade the institutions of government, they are not on the front line to invade. It is our innocent children and families in despair that are going to lose their lives.
And what you would think like a positive revolution, or you think you're expressing your voice, has taken a political turn. Politicians are infiltrating what was your movement last year. It no longer has a Gen Z face. It no longer has a youth face of this country. It is a competition that has all the political connotation in it. So I want to ask you, and especially the youth in Nairobi, do not be used politically. We know you are peaceful youth. We know you because we've interacted with you. We know you mean well. Do not agree to be used politically.
With everything that is doing right now, you can see how much economic empowerment that is going around through even our deputy president and the teams that are going to the villages there to meet our people and ask them what they want, what they need, and it is actually being done. Sit back tomorrow, call your leadership, start having an agenda about this movement. Only then will your voice that is already loud enough will also be heard in 2027. Thank you so much. May we have a peaceful Saba day tomorrow.
And in a desperate appeal, they urged the now famous Gen Z protesters to swap the streets for dialogue with the government to stop what they call a dangerous spiral.
So for me, I want to say to all those that think hashtags are the way to go, and they're taking advantage of our youth and the situations that they find themselves in, those hashtags are not going to give jobs. Those hashtags are actually destroying jobs. So what I want to say is give the president and give the Right Honorable Raila Odinga and any leader of like mind a chance to solve the problems that we want to solve for this country.
But here's the real question. Why does the government treat the very mention of protests like an unforgiving sin? Why Why has dialogue become the government's new panic button? You see, the answer lies in the unprecedented ferocity of the Gen Z uprising. But these protests aren't like anything Kenya has seen before. Since June 2024, Ruto's administration has been fighting shadows. The youths aren't just restless, they are revolutionary.
You are lying to people. Hizo kampani za ziko. Niulize mimi najua nanyesha waonyeshi. Rudia tena.
Gone are the days when protests were a predictable affair, led by Raila Odinga, negotiated over tea and mandazi, and then quietly diffused.
What this country now requires is a serious dialogue, a comprehensive dialogue that will be able to fix all the things that have gone wrong.
The Gen Z protests have rewritten the rule book. This time, there is no Raila to call, no single face to co-opt. The Gen Z protests are leaderless, faceless, and to the government's horror, endlessly adaptive. These aren't your grandfather's maandamano. These are the pro-marks of Kenyan protests. These are the demonstrations that breached parliament for the first time in history. That dared to call out a sitting president with no political godfather pulling the strings. And since there is no single leader to bribe, threaten, or detain, the government is hinting at being on a panic mode.
All those people would prefer anarchy, chaos, at the expense of peace. And since there is no one who is going to defend our police officers, I want to speak authoritatively here. I thank you, our police officer, for a job well done.
In desperation, the state has unleashed its arsenals. Abductions, torture, extrajudicial killings, all in a bid to smoke out the alleged masterminds of June 25th. But the more they clamp down, the more elusive and resilient the movement becomes.
What is that? You're not going to live in fear in this country. No! This is a police station! This is a police station! Police station! We are live, lazima! Hii ni mali ya umma! Hai bwana! No, hii ni mali ya umma. Hii ni mali ya umma. Let's be live. Maafisa, hii ni mali ya umma. Kwa nini unatuzuia kuongea police station? Unatuzuia kuongea police station?
Feeling cornered, Ruto's allies have pointed fingers in every direction. International NGOs like the Forward Foundation have been accused of sponsoring regime change.
We have no use for anarchy and violence and destruction of property and loss of life. Wale ambao wana sponsor hiyo violence, sisi tunawajua. And I want to call out those who are behind the anarchy in Kenya, those who are behind the sponsoring the chaos in the Republic of Kenya. Shame on them, because they are sponsoring violence against our democratic nation. Mimi nataka niulize watu wa Ford Foundation, watuambie hiyo pesa wanatoa ifanye fujo ndio wapate faida gani?
Ironically, months later, the president was spotted dining alongside Ford Foundation officials in the US. Even former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has been painted as the shadowy architect of the unrest.
The chief goon is Mr. Rigathi Gachagua, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we must call a spade today. We must call a spade today, Mr. Speaker. You can see, Mr. Speaker, this is one man who is holding his community hostage, Mr. Speaker. He has decided to use his community and destroying their property and making and impoverish them in this country, Mr. Speaker. This is the Lord of poverty. This is the man who wants to make the community from Mount Kenya to become poor so that he can rule them, Mr. Speaker.
As for him, the accusations have been bizarrely contradictory. Ruto's allies blame him for sponsoring both last year's and this year's protests. Yet, no one has dared arrest him. If he truly plotted to overthrow the government, critics ask, why is he still walking free? Why wasn't the mastermind unmasked when he sat on the National Security Council?
Yes. It is in the presidency.
Yeah.
The deputy president is in the presidency.
Yeah.
Is that so?
Yeah.
The office of the president is at the presidency.
Yeah.
Meaning the security operations are run in the office of the president, where Gachagua is. And if he was able to do a massive organization countrywide without them knowing, then don't joke with that man.
So in short, that is what could be, maybe that's how you perceive Gachagua.
No. They said it is Gachagua.
Yeah, he's the chief funder.
He's the chief funder.
Yeah.
When he funded, where were you?
At the end,
when he sat down planning with them, where were you?
The DCI, for its part, insists there is no evidence to implicate him, at least not yet.
Regarding Gachagua, it is not true that we have summoned regarding Gachagua. But I would like to point out very, very clearly that regarding Gachagua does not enjoy any immunity against prosecution. He is subject to the laws of the land. If in our investigations he is found to have been involved in any criminal activity, perpetrated any criminal activity, aided or abetted any criminal activity, then appropriate action will be taken against regarding Gachagua.
Frustrated, the government has labeled protesters criminals and anarchists. Yet, these so-called criminals have yet to show up with anything more dangerous than placards, flags, and TikTok live streams.
They show that they have achieved some sort of a regime change. So this is nothing to do with protests. This is nothing to do with freedom of expression. It was an unconstitutional attempt to change the regime of this republic. And this is therefore, yesterday what the police did to foil was they were able to foil an attempted coup.
Each attempt to crush the movement by brute force or insults from Ruto's allies has only deepened the generational chasm between State House and Kenya's youths.
Na tumeambia polisi, mtu yoyote mwenye atakaribia police station, pika yeye risasi. Mtu yoyote.
In a last-ditch effort, Ruto even extended an olive branch to Raila Odinga by forming a broad-based government, hoping Baba's calming influence could tame the restless youths. But Gen Zs aren't listening. They are leaderless, furious, and back in the streets again, barely 2 weeks after the June 25th demonstrations. With Saba looming, the government is pulling out all the stops, deploying the military, vilifying protesters, and praying for a miracle.
All right, it's good if it's peaceful. And I pray that tomorrow will be peaceful. For those that will exercise their rights tomorrow, right? The headlines that are trying to steer more division, right? Which I've called the media out for that.
So hizi vitisho za kusema tutaoccupy nyumba fulani ya mheshimiwa fulani, wafanye mambo yao. Kuoccupy si rahisi, pia zinaweza occupy.
But as the Gen Z juggernaut gathers momentum, one question still remains. Can President Ruto's government tame a movement that has no head to cut off? Or will the Maandamano spirit prove too wild for the state to cage? What are your thoughts? Leave your thoughts in our comment section. That is it for now. Thanks for watching. Let's meet next time. Bye-bye.